For this week's assignment, I decided to make a content review game for one of my graphic design units using Kahoot. Before choosing Kahoot, I analyzed Wayground, formerly known as Quizzes, and Gimkit. While Wayground has a similar setup for creating robust quizzes, it is self-paced, whereas the live nature of Kahoot is energizing for students when reviewing material. Gimkit is also great for creating gamified activities, but it is extremely limited when a teacher only has access to the free version. Ultimately, I chose to create a learning game on Kahoot because students are familiar with it and enjoy the competitive nature of the live game during class. Because Kahoot is a learning tool, it feels like a low stakes formative assessment as opposed to students' regularly scheduled learning activities. The learners for this content review game are in grades 7 through 12 in a graphic design course within a visual arts program at a magnet high school. I chose to create a review-based game for my students in graphic design because they often focus on memorizing how and when to use certain tools in Photoshop. With a Kahoot, students can compete with their peers to see how much information they retain from the unit once it is finished. So first, what is Kahoot and how does it work? Kahoot is an educational game platform where teachers can create games for their students or even find games made by other educators to quiz their students on class content. There are both paid and free options for Kahoot users, but paying for Kahoot allows teachers to make more complex games for their students. The game I am presenting today was made using the free version of Kahoot. To play Kahoot in class, a teacher must project the game pin. Students then go to the Kahoot website on their phones, click play, and enter the game pin. Once all students in a classroom have joined the Kahoot from their phones, the teacher can begin the game. The Kahoot that I made for my students is composed of 10 questions that quiz students on various terms and ideas from their GIF short form animation unit in Photoshop. Students first begin the quiz with baseline knowledge from the unit, such as what the acronym GIF stands for, which is Graphics Interchange Format. As you can see via the live playthrough demo of the Kahoot, students are met with various quiz activities, including true and false questions related to various components of the unit, such as how the GIF file type works to store their animations. As researched by Coco et al. In 2025, Kahoot can support students of various learning types with its varied question types, such as typing quiz answers, true and false questions, multiple choice questions, and varied content in general. In order to further support students as they complete the Kahoot in class, I embedded screenshots from the unit slideshow itself. As you can see here, I also introduced various recall-based questions about the principles of animation that students learned about throughout their short-form animation unit. Although in the Kahoot, students are tasked with answering 4 questions about various principles of animation, Kahoot makes it easy to add a variety to the way that the questions are asked. Teachers are able to leave blanks in their questions to create fill-in-the-blank style questions using the quiz format, or teachers can create traditional quiz-style questions. It is challenging to convey how electrified a classroom is when students are playing Kahoot simply by playing a demonstration of the game itself. But students truly come alive when they are playing such a competitive game against their classmates. Students rush to be the first to hit the correct answer on their phone. Students rejoice when they get the right answer.
Yes, yes.
And are just so excited overall to show off how much information they have retained throughout the course of a unit or throughout the entirety of the class. As the students progress throughout the Kahoot, you also see a scoreboard that is not visualized in the playthrough demo, where students overtake each other on the leaderboard. The live feedback on who is winning and who gets a question wrong and loses their spot on the leaderboard is exhilarating for students and keeps them excited to keep trying their best as they complete the Kahoot. Overall, educational games and gamified learning activities empower students to strive for success in the classroom. They are inclusive learning opportunities for students of various levels of mastery. By creating a Kahoot with questions about various topics from the unit, all students can feel successful. Throughout the entirety of the Kahoot, students must demonstrate an ability to remember facts from the beginning of the Infinite Bliss GIF unit, as well as show an understanding of how to employ at least 4 principles of animation that the students learned about throughout the unit, and recall the names of inspirational artists whose work was shown to the students to give them ideas about how and why contemporary artists create short form animations such as GIFs. As stated by Katie Salen and Eric Zimmerman, and then cited by Carl M. Kapp, one of the innovators of the idea of gamification in the instructional context, a game is a system in which players engage in an artificial conflict, defined by rules that results in a quantifiable outcome. By bringing gamified activities into the classroom, educators are able to assess student learning in new ways in order to ensure that their instruction is effective overall. When students compete against each other by playing a game like Kahoot in the classroom, the stakes feel tied to real world outcomes more readily for students than if teachers were to simply test or quiz students about learning materials on paper. I truly believe, after researching the impact that gamification has on learners and its ability to increase student mastery and overall joy while learning, that all teachers should incorporate gamified learning activities into their classrooms in order to support students, regardless of their current proficiency level in any given unit or subject matter. Thank you.